Morning.
ॐ
सदाशिवसमारम्भां
शिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम्
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां
वन्दे
परम्परा
गुरुपरम्पराम्
ॐ
ॐ
सहनावतु
सहनावतु
सहनौ
सहनौ
भुनक्तु
भुनक्तु
सह वीर्यं
सह
कर्वावहै
वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ
शान्ति
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 शान्तिः
ॐ तत्सत् शिवाय.
ॐ तत्सत् ॐ नमः शिवाय.
So we were looking at the Upasana called Dahara Akasha, and we had completed the second khanda, second section of the eighth chapter. So now we are on the third khanda. This third and the fourth sections are basically only stuti, glorification of the Upasana. So we will read the first mantra 831. So please unmute yourselves. त इमे सत्याः कामाः
त इमे
इमे
सत्याः
सत्याः
कामाः
अनृतापिधाना तेषां सत्यानाम्
अनृताभिधानास्तेषां सत्यानां
सत्यानाम्
सताम् अनृतं पिधानं यो यो ह्यस्य
सतां
सत्तामृतं
विधानं
विधानं
यो
यो यो ह्यस्येतः
यस्य
इतः प्रैतीन तमिह
ततः
ततः
प्रैतिन
प्रैतिन
तमिह
तमिह
दर्शनाय लभते.
दर्शनाय
दर्शनाय
लभते.
लभते.
Okay, so this is basically the stuti for the Dahara Akasha Upasana. And its basic assumption is that the majority of people in this world are interested in worldly upasana, right? In worldly upasana, therefore worldly pleasures and worldly sense. The phalam arising out of those worldly upasana is worldly pleasure, laukika pleasures they want. So all the people are basically interested in sense pleasures. And for that, various types of efforts can be there. And here the glorification is that all of these sense pleasures can be attained by the practice of this one single upasana. So it's a replacement basically for any amount of effort that people put in for any amount of pleasures, sense pleasures. Why? Because all the sense pleasures are basically available in your own heart. And therefore, Dahara Akasha Upasana on the Dahara Akasha in the heart, that will bring out these sense pleasures. This power, but even available to us. Shastra tells us this is possible, that you don't need to run after sense pleasures, and just by this upasana, all those sense pleasures can be attained by you. But even then, everybody is struggling outside. Okay, so that's what is said. Ta ime satyaha kamaha. All those satyaha, vyavaharik satyam, therefore objects of pleasures in the Vyavaharika world. Where are they? They are in the Dahara Akasha of your heart. And therefore, we should do the Upasana. And what happens if you are not Upasaka? Then he says, Anrata Apidhanaha. Apidhanaha means it's a concealment is there, it's covered. And what is covered? Anrita Apidhanaha. It is covered by Anritaha. Anrita means the mithyatvam of the world. So the extrovertedness of the world, of your mind, which is looking at the mithya world outside, because of that, these pleasures which are already there in your heart, they are apidhanaha, they are concealed. And Shankara in his commentary says that people have the idea that pleasures are available outside because of the ignorance of that Dahara Brahman, of that Atma, that Brahman. which is available in the Dahara Akasha in the heart. So the pleasures may be there outside, but they are also available inside. And therefore, Tesham Satyanam Satam. These pleasures which are available inside, Satyanam Satam, are as real as the pleasurable experiences outside. And here we should remember the Vedantic idea that even when you are, let us say, you have gone for a concert or a dance festival or some music concert, and you are experiencing the pleasures of listening to that music concert or looking at the dance festival, you think that the dance and music are outside you. But really speaking, what has happened? Your mind has flown out, has in the form of thoughts enveloped the dancer or the music, and then that has entered your mind, right? So the objects outside is only a mistaken impression. Actually, those objects have entered your mind in the form of thoughts. And therefore, any external pleasure which you think you enjoy, actually, it's not external at all. It's available inside you in the form of thoughts. This is the Vedic thing. And therefore, he says, Yaha Yaha Yasya Itaha Praitihi. Whoever is dead and gone to other lokas, na tama iha darshanaya labate. That Upasaka is not able to meet that person here because of what? Anritam Vidhanam. Because of the mistaken impression. And because of mistaken impression, the pleasures are outside. And therefore, the external orientation covers the pleasure inside. So, this sentence, whoever is dead and gone to other lokas, you have to connect it to our earlier teaching, where we said that earlier mantras, where we said the Upasaka is able to go to other lokas and meet whoever he wants, including his dead relatives and dead friends and dead brothers and dead sisters. This is a reference to that. So he's saying the non-upasaka will not be able to do this because of his external orientation, because of the fact that his focus on the external world, it veils the Akasha Brahman in his heart. So now we go to mantra number 2. We will chant. So please unmute yourselves. Athaye chasyeha
अथ
अतये चास्येह
जीवाहा ये च प्रेता
जीवा
जीवाः ये च प्रेता
यच्चान्यत् इच्छन् लभते
यच्चान्यदिच्छन् लभते
सर्वं तदत्र गत्वा विन्दते
सर्वत्र गत्वा विन्दते
तत्र यस्यैते सत्याः कामाः
तत्र
कामाः
अनृतापिधानः
अनृतापि
अनृतान्दानः
तद्यथापि हिरण्यनिधिम्
तद्यथापि हिरण्यनिधिम्
निहतं क्षेत्रज्ञः
निहितं
निहितक्षेत्रज्ञाः
उपरि सञ्चरन्ते
उपरि
पर्युपरि
सञ्चरन्ते
न विन्देयुः एवम् एव इमा सर्वाः
न विन्देयुरेवमेव इमाः सर्वाः
प्रजा अहर अहर गच्छन्त्य
प्रजा
अहरः
गच्छन्त
एतं ब्रह्मलोको न विन्दन्ति
एतं ब्रह्मलोकं न विन्दन्ति
अनृतेन हि प्रत्यूढाः
अनृतेन हि प्रत्यूढाः
Then he says, Atha ye cha yasyeha jivaha. So there are many friends and jivas who, because they're referring to live jivas, who are not available to for you to meet up with, because they could be in another country, another state, another place completely. For a variety of reasons, these people who are your friends and your relatives are not available for you to meet. And there are other people also who you can't meet. Who are they? Ye cha pretaha. There are many dear ones who have passed away. And not only that, yachan, yatta, yacha, anyat, icchan lavate. And there are many, many sense objects which you like, icchan, which you want, but they are nalavate. They are not available to you, even though you want them very badly. And this is for whom? This is for the non-upasaka. But what about the upasaka? Sarvam tadatra gatva vindati. They are all available for the upasaka. So tadatra gatva means tat atra gatva. This upasaka who has entered gatva, entered where the dahara akasha. Therefore, by association with the dahara akasha, Brahman, this upasaka is able to do all those activities which has been said earlier, including meeting people who are not there in this world, and who are also live people who are there in this world, but who are not there in front of you for a variety of reasons. They may be here and there. Why and how is this possible? So it is atra hi asyai asaite satyaha kama. They are all available there. Where in that dharakasha. And if you are a non-upasaka, what happens? Anrita apidhanaha. Though they are available in Dhara Akasha, because your orientation is external, you don't recognize the Dhara Akasha of Brahman. And therefore, apidhanaha, they are all covered. So the non-upasaka is not able to get this benefit. And an example is given. He says, Tadyathapi hiranyanidhim nihitam kshetrajna ऊपर ऊपरी ऊपर ऊपरी सचरंतो न विंदेयो. So ऊपर ऊपरी संचरंतो api you have to add, just like the person who is walking over the ground, right? It's a very nice example of a person who has some hidden treasure under the land which he owns, but uppari uppari sancharanto, he is walking on the ground above the treasure, but he is not aware. Kshetrajna, he is not aware of that treasure. And what is that? Nihitam hiranya nidhim navindeyu, that huge treasure of gold which is lying under the land, navindeyu, he is not aware of. In the same way, so this is an example. A person has a huge amount of golden treasure lying under his land, but he is not aware of that. And so he keeps on walking on the land, and he's probably starving also, but he doesn't know that that money is there already. The treasure is there already, which can take away his sorrow. Evam eva, in the same manner, imaha sarvaha praja, all these ajnani people, what happens? Ahara ahara gacchanti etam lokam. You go to that brahmaloka daily. Ahara ahara, daily. Why? Because in Sushupti Avastha, your mind dissolves into the space in your heart, which is Dhara Akasha. That person is also like the man who is walking over the treasure. Because during Sushupti Avastha, everybody merges into Antaryami. Everybody loses the individuality, and for the period of Sushupti Avastha, he is Brahman only. But Vindati, they don't know. They have not studied Shastram. They don't know that during Sushupti, Jivatma merges with the Paramatma. That they don't know. Because Anritena hi pratyudaha. Pratyudaha means swept away or carried away. Anritena means by ignorance, by the Mithyatvam. So that he is carried away by the Mithyatma of the world. He has not inquired into Shastram. Anritena can also be taken as Ajnana. Right? Because if you take Mithyatvam here, the problem is in Sushupti Avastha, right? So in Sushupti Avastha, the mind is not available. So a better meaning than Mithyatvam is Ajnana. Sushupti Avastha, Ajnanam is there. Because he doesn't know, therefore, he is merging into the Antaryami. He doesn't know that he is that Antaryami. Then we look at the next mantra, 8.3.3. So please unmute yourself. Sava esha atma
Sava esha atma
hृदि तस्यै तद् एव
hridhi tasyaiva
निरुक्तं हृदयम् इति
niruktam hridayam iti
तस्मात् हृदयम् अहरहर्वा
tasmat hridayam aharaha
एवं विद स्वर्गं लोकमेति
evam vid swargam lokameti.
So a new name is given to that Brahman who is there, who is also available in the Harakasha. We should not say Brahman who is available, because if you say Brahman who is available in the Harakasha, there may be a misconception that he is limited by the Harakasha. Therefore, we can say that Brahman, who is Brahman everywhere, but who is also available in the Harakasha, that Brahman is given a new name, Hridayam. Why Hridayam? So Shankara says, Hridi ayam vartate iti Hridayam. The one who sits in the Hridi, in the heart, is called Hridayam. So the very derivation of the word actually, Hridi ayam vartate, that who is within you. So that is why Krishna talks about Ishvara Sarvabhutana Hriddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. In the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, it says that Ishvara, I am, who sits in the hearts of every people. That has to be connected to this particular mantra, Hridayam. And Sava Esha Atma Hridi, that Atma is nothing but in the heart itself. And Tasyaitat Eva Niruktam, Tasya for that Lord, Etat Eva Niruktam. So the word Niruktam here is the derivation, etymology. So he is talking about that particular etymology. Hridi ayam vartate iti hridayam. It's all very Vedantic derivation. You can't look in a grammar book and find this. Then hridayam iti tasmat hridayam ahar aharva evam vit. So and the upasaka evam vit merges into this hridayam ahar aharva every day again and again during sushupti avastha. And during the Sushupti Avastha, Swarga Lokam Eti. So here Swarga Loka means Brahman. And Swarga is used in the sense of Ishvara, Paramatma. And Loka is because the Lord is experienced. Brahman is experienced in the heart as the Upasyam itself. Therefore, the Upasaka during Sushupti Avastha merges with Ishvara. That is the text over here. Then you can ask a question. Is it only the Upasaka who merges with Ishvara during Sushupti Avastha? What is the answer? What about the Ajnani, the non-Upasaka?
It is the same for all.
What is the difference then?
He doesn't know, the Agyani doesn't know that there is Brahman and he is merging with the Brahman in Sushupti. While the
So,
Jnani is aware.
correct. So when the Jnani wakes up, he can say that I was one with the Lord during Sushupti Avastha. When the Ajnani wakes up, he'll simply say, I did not know anything. He does not know that. Therefore, it is as if because he does not know, it is as if he does not merge. So it's a figurative non-merging. You can say Upasaka merges also, but it's easier to say, it's better to say that Upasaka does not merge, and then tell yourself this figuratively not merging because he does not know that he has merged with Ishvara. The Upasaka, however, knows. Therefore, he considers Sushupti as a very, very sacred time, sacred avastha. Now the mantra number 4. अथय एष सम्प्रसादः
Athaya esh samprasadam
Asmat Sharirat Samuthaya Param.
अस्मात्
तस्मात्
शरीरात्
शरीराय
समुत्थाय
समुत्थाय
परम्
परम्
Jyotir Upasampadya
ज्योतिरुपसम्पद्य
ज्योतिरुपसम्पद्य
Svena Rupena
स्वेन
स्वेन
रूपेण
येन
रूपेण
रूपेण
Abhinishpadyat Esha
अभिनिष्पद्यत एष
विनिष्पद्यत
अभिनिष्पद्यते
एष
Atmeti Hovacha
आत्मेति
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 होवाच
होवाच
Etad Amritam Abhayam Etad Brahmeti
एतदमृतम्
एतत्
एतत्
अभयम्
अमृतम्
अमृतम्
अभयम्
अभयम् एतत् ब्रह्मेति
एतेति
Tasya Hava Etasya
तस्य
तस्य
हवा एतस्य
एतस्य
Brahmano Nama Satyamiti.
ब्रह्मणो
ब्रह्मणो
नाम
नाम
सत्यमिति
सत्यमिति
So this is a very important mantra because it talks about Jiva Brahma Aikyam. So if somebody says where in the Shastra is it said that Jiva and Brahman are the same, this is one of those mantras. There are many. This is one of them. So we say that during Sushupti, Jiva merges into Ishvara, into Paramatma. And during waking, and when he wakes up, the Jiva comes back. Right? So the mistaken understanding here, because you are saying that Jiva merges with Paramatma and comes back in when he wakes up, there could be a mistaken understanding. It is that Jivatma is a entity different from Paramatma, and only during Sushupti Avastha they become one. And then when he wakes up in Jagrata Avastha, the Jivatma, Paramatma are different. This is a possible misunderstanding, right? But we have to remember that actually you are Paramatma. And that Paramatma status is, intensified during Sushupti because the mind is not available. But really speaking, during Sushupti, you are Paramatma. Even during Jagrata and Swapna, you are Paramatma because that alone is your real nature. What is Jivatma? It's a temporary role that I have, it's in Malayalam or in the in Sanskrit, they can call it Vesham. Vesham is a role, some temporary clothes that you have put on during Jagratavastha. So if you are really Paramatma and you have put on a temporary role, temporary clothing during Jagrata and Swapna, what is the problem? The problem is that you have misunderstood this temporary role as your real nature. You know, it is like you are the king and you are basically in a let us say in a movie or in a play, and you have put on the role of a beggar. So you are really the king. The role of the beggar doesn't take away the fact that you're a king. But supposing you forget that, and then you forget the main role that you have, that is of king, and then you take this beggar role for real, and then you go out in the world and beg. The tragedy is what you are really the king, but you have taken this temporary role as your real nature. Exactly what has happened. You are really Ishvara, Paramatma. You have taken this Jivatma role as permanent, as your real role. So here the Dahara Upasaka is given a new title, Samprasadaha. Samprasada has a very nice definition. Samyak prasidati swasya swarupe iti samprasadaha. Samyak prasidati swasya swarupe. The one who is abiding in his real nature, where when during Sushupti Avastha, he is called Samprasadaha. So Samprasada is actually, Prasadaha means peaceful. Samprasadaha means very, very peaceful. So why peaceful? Because you are resting in your real nature. And when you rest in your real nature, the source of your disturbance has been removed. What is the source of your disturbance which is removed in Sushupti Avastha?
Fear. Fear of the external world, fear of other, samsara.
Anybody
Can we
else?
say that?
The
Or the
mind.
fact that I'm other.
The mind has been removed,
Mind.
right? Because
Yeah.
Sushupti Avastha,
Okay.
mind is not available. Therefore, the source of all disturbances for us is the mind. Because mind always has thoughts and mind is extroverted. Mind is affected by the world. Therefore, asmat sharira samuthaya, having left the two bodies behind. Which two bodies? Sthula and
Sukshma.
Sukshma bodies, they have left behind. He merges into his real nature. Svena rupena abhinishpadyataha. He assumes his own nature, right? His real nature. Remember that you should not ever say that I lack experience of Advaita, right? Because experience of Advaita Anubhava, we are having day in and day out. Why? Because every day you go into Sushupti Avastha. And Sushupti Avastha is nothing but experience of Advaita, Advaita status, which is Brahman alone. And therefore, every jiva, every day has Sushupti Anubhava, which is nothing but Advaita Anubhava. However, you should know that during Advaita Anubhava, it's a very important idea. During Advaita Anubhava, you will not have, you will not have Advaita Jnana. Very important distinction. Advaita Anubhava is there every day. But during Advaita Anubhava, you cannot have Advaita Jnana. Why? Because the mind is not available at that point of time. During the Advaita experience, which is Sushupti, the mind is resolved. How can you have Advaita Jnanam at that time? Because that requires the mind. So he talks about the merging into Sushupti and he says, Param Jyoti Rupa Sampadya. At the time of the Sushupti, Param Jyoti Rupa Sampadya, he has merged into his superior nature, which is the nature of Jyoti, the flame, knowledge, right? Awareness. And Esha Atmeti Hovacha, this Atma, this Pragnya Jiva. Why? Because he's a Sushupti Avastha. Sushupti Avastha, what is Jiva called? Pragnya. Prakarshena Agnyaha. Specifically ignorant of most things, except in two things, which is what? In Sushupti
Mm.
Avastha, you cannot say that you are totally ignorant. You are ignorant, but you
Happy.
experience
He
two
knows
things.
happy and
You are. Yeah.
He knows and
he remembers
He
when
is.
uh,
one
he
more.
can say that he was happy.
Yeah. He was.
When you wake up from Sushupti, you normally make two statements. You have to recall Tattva Bodha for this.
I was ignorant and I was happy.
Ignorant and happy, right? So Ananda Anubhava is there and Ajnana Anubhava is there. And therefore, Prakarshena Ajnaha, which is meaning of Prajna, means Jivatma who has only these two experiences. So Esha Atmeti Hovacha. This Prajna Jiva is Atma. Etad Amritam Abhayam. And this particular status is Amritam, which is eternal, and Abhayam, without fear. This status is also Etad Brahmeti. This is Brahman. At the time of Sushupti, the Prajna Jiva is nothing but Brahman. So here it is the equation is given that Brahman and Jiva are the same. And Tasya Hava Etasya Brahmano Nama Satyamati. For all this, that Brahman, the name is Satyam. Brahmano Nama Satyamati. That Brahma is called Satyam. Satyam Brahma. What is Satyam Brahma? we will see the next mantra. 8.3.5, which we will chant. Tani hava etani
तानि
तानि
हवायेतानि
हवाएतानि
त्रीण्यक्षराणि
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 सत्यमिति तद्यत् सत्
सत्यमिति
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 तत्
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 सत्
तदमृतम् अथ यत्ति
तदमृतम्
तदमृतं
अथयन्ति
यथयति
तन्मृत्यमथ यद्यम्
तन्मृत्यथ
तन्मृत्यर्थमथं
यत्यम्
यत्यम्
तेन उभे यच्छति
तेन उभे
तेन उभे
यच्छति
यच्छति
यदनेन उभे यच्छति
यदनेन
यदनेन
उभे
उभे यच्छति
तस्माद्यम् अहर्वा अहर्वा
तस्माद्यम् अहर्वा
तस्माद्यम्
अहर्वा
अहर्वा अहर्वा
अहर्वा
एवं वित स्वर्गं लोकमेति
एवं
एवं वितस्वर्गं
वित्तस्वर्गलोकमेति
लोकमेति
तो तानि हवा एतानि त्रीणि अक्षराणि सत्यम इति. So that word satyam iti, satyam has त्रीणि अक्षराणि, has got three components. Sa, ti, and yam. Satyam. Right? When it's combined together, it becomes satyam. So tani hava etani त्रीणि अक्षराणि सत्यम. So it's a, remember the derivation is Vedic, it's not grammatical derivation. Okay, so it's a Vedic utpatti, Vedic derivation. So he says, Satyam has three components, Sa, Ti and Yam. And then he proceeds to define. Tad yat Sat, Tad Amritam. That which is Sa, Sat, is eternal existence, that is immortality, right? Nityam. And Atha Yatti Tanmrityam. So the Sa refers to Sat existence, immortality, and the Ti, it refers to Mrityam, mortality. Right? Atha Yadyam, the Yam. Atha Yat Yam, the Yam. Tena Ubhe Yachati. So Yachati means the one who controls. So it's the controller. So Tena Ubhe, that Yam refers to the controller of both. Both is what? Sa and Ti. Sa is what? Mortality. And Ti is mortality. And the Yam refers to the controller of both mortality and immortality. The root, the dhatu of Yam, Yathati, controls. And therefore the same dhatu also, from that dhatu also, Yama is derived. Yamraj, Lord Yama. That's how the controller of immortality and mortality. And Antaryami, of course, means the controller. Again, Yam is there. So here mortality means what? The Maya Tattva, the matter principle, because matter is constantly changing its form. And it is matter which we think gets destroyed. When the body dies, we say it is mortality, right? The body doesn't really die. Body just changes form. So Maya Tattvam is mortality here. And immortality refers to Nirguna Atma, Paramatma. So having understood this, Yad Anena Ubhe Yachati. The one who worships this Paramatma is the master of both mortality and immortality. Tasmat Yam, as his controller, Aharva Aharva Evam With, in the same Evam With, in the same manner, Aharva Aharva, every single day, Swargam Lokam Eti. He will become one with Swargaloka, which is Brahmaloka, which is what? The source of Ananda. How? He's talking about Shushupti Avastha. Remember, Shushupti Avastha is here referred to as Sargaloka. Therefore, this Jiva is only playing a role of what? During the daytime, the role of mortality, and during Shushupti Avastha, the role of immortality. He plays both mortal roles and immortal roles every single day. Iti Tritiya Khandaha. The third section is also over. Any questions so far?
Very nice explanation, Acharyaji, on Satyam.
So,
So
yeah,
that means that
yes, please go ahead.
this jiva is playing the role of the role of immortality
And mortality.
during sushupti.
During Sushupti, you are Paramatma. So you are playing the role, you are put on the immortal clothes. During Jagrata Avastha, you think you are mortal. So you change your clothes and you become mortal. So actually speaking, what? You are both mortal and immortal. And when you say, I am mortal and immortal, what are you actually? You are the immortal one, playing the role of the mortal one. You are Paramatma, but you think that you are Jiva occasionally. The idea is it's a very beautiful way of explaining that you are Paramatma alone. Whenever you play the role, don't think that is your real nature. When the king plays the role of the beggar, the king should never forget that he is actually the king. When you forget it, samsara begins.
Just
Nice example.
just a question. I don't know whether it is relevant, but still I'm asking. Some people, they die during the Sushupti Avastha when they are asleep.
Yeah.
So does it mean that they will not take rebirth?
No, not at all. Because Sushupti Avastha, you don't know that you are Jiva. But the mind doesn't die, right? Because physical body dies. When the mind carries forward, when you are after death, Sukshma Shariram carries forward. Your Ajnanam is still there in that Sukshma Shariram. The only way that you can be free of rebirth is by getting jnana. The only way. Jnana eva kaivalyam.
Thank you.
So, Chaturtha Khandaha. We are going to the fourth section, the first mantra, 841. Ataya Atma sa seturvidhrati.
Athaya
Athaya Atma
setur
Saseturvidhriti
Esham Lokanam
Esham Lokanam
Asambhedaya Naita Setum
Asambhedaya Naita
Naita
Setum
Setum
Ahoratre Tarataha
Ahoratre
Ahoratre
tarataha
Tarataha
Najara na mrityu na shokaha
na
न
jara na
जरा न
mrityu na
मृत्यु न
shokaha
शोकः
na supratam na dushpratam
न
na
सुकृतं
sukritam
न
na dushritam
दुष्कृतं
sarve papmana ato nivartante.
sarve
सर्वे
papmano
पाप्मानन्तो
nivartante
निवर्तन्ते
Tapahata papma yesha brahma lokaha.
apahat
अपहत
papma
पाप्मा ह्येष
yesha
ब्रह्मलोकः
brahmalokaha.
So this is again a glorification of the Dara Akasha Vasana, which was presented earlier. Okay. Athaya Atma. Therefore, this Ishvara, this Atma, Sa Setuhu Vidhrati Esham. This Atma is the Setu. Now, here we have to very carefully understand what is the normal meaning of Setu,
a bridge.
ब्रिज
a bridge.
Mm.
But the Setu has another meaning also. That is Bandha. What is the meaning of Bandha?
Like a dam or something which holds or
The literal meaning of Bandha is that if you take the normal, not the normal agricultural meaning is that if you have a field and you water the field, you need to raise the four sides of the field. Why?
to hold the water
To hold the water. Because until
so
the
that it
water
doesn't
is
run
held
away.
there, until the water is held there, it will not nourish the ground. And therefore, you will find that any field is slightly depressed. The four sides are raised up. That's called the bandha. The slightly raised part of the four sides, so the water doesn't get wasted out by flowing out. Right. And here Ishvara Sasetuhu, he is the bandha. What is the water here? The water is the dharma. So Ishvara is the setu, the bandha, which prevents the dharma waters from flowing out and getting lost. And therefore, Ishvara protects the world. How? By Vidhati. He is the upholder of the setu. He ensures that all the natural forces, they operate according to the manner in which they are supposed to operate. And why does he do all this? Lokanam asambhedaya. Sambhedaya is disintegration or destruction. So lokanam asambhedaya, protect the lokas from disintegration. And na itam setum tarataha. The following things cannot touch Ishvara. What are they? Ahoratre, day and night. So day and night has to be taken as Kala Tattva. So very, very interesting derivations. Okay, we get it only from Shankara Bhashya. Ahoratre cannot touch Ishvara means what? Day and night cannot touch Ishvara. Which means what cannot touch Ishvara?
Beyond Kala.
Kala cannot touch Ishvara. Which means what? What is the effect of Kala on us?
Aging.
Mortality or
Mortality.
disintegration.
Disintegration, mortality. Therefore, Ahoratra here has to be taken as not day and night, but the very principle behind day and night, which is Lord Yama. Right? Kala. The time principle is Lord Yama only. And therefore, death or disintegration cannot touch Ishvara. And he clarifies again, na jarana mrityu, neither old age nor death, na shokaha nor sorrow, na sukritam. Sukritam is punyam. No punyam is there. Na duskritam. No papam is there. Why? Because sarve papmanaha ato nivartante. All the karaphalam, they return. Ataha nivartante. Before touching Ishvara, they return. They cannot reach Paramatma. They cannot touch Paramatma. He is free from all these things. He is free from old age. He is free from death. He is free from sorrow. He has no punyam, no papam. And apahat papma. He is free from all papam. He is, again, telling us that as by way of reinforcement. And Hesha Brahma Lokaha. Here the word Brahma Lokaha is this Paramatma. This Paramatma is free from all these things. Now we go to second mantra. Tasmadva etam setum
Tasmadva etam setum
tirtva andasan
tirtva bandhasan
anando bhavati
Anando
anandho bhavati
viddasan aviddho bhavati
Viddhasannavidho
vidhasan
bhavati.
vidho bhavati
upatapi san anupatapi bhavati
Upatapi
upatapi
sannaputapi bhavati.
sannanutapi bhavati
tasmadva etasetum tirtva api
Tasmadva etam
tasmadva
setum
etasetum
tirtvapi
tirtva api
naktam aharevabhi
naktam
naktam
avarevabi
aharevabhi
निष्पद्यते
nishpadyate
निष्पद्यते
सुकृद्विभातो
sukrudvibhato
सुकृद्विभातो
दैवैष ब्रह्मलोकः
avaisha
एवैष
brahmalokaha.
ब्रह्मलोकः
okay so tasmadva etam setum tirtva. So here again the word tirtva normally means having crossed over, and eta setum means that Ishvara who is in the form of the bandha. So obviously the word tirtva cannot mean crossed over. right? Because Ishvara is being presented as the four-raced fortification which is keeping dharma water inside. You cannot say that this upasaka will cross over. So tirtva should not be taken as having crossed over. You have to take it as having attained. So tasmadva eta setum tirtva. Having attained this Ishvara, who is in the form of these raised walls, Bandha Rupa Ishvara, what happens? Andaha san anando bhavati. Andaha, the blind person, anando bhavati, he begins to see. Okay. Now, you have to very carefully look at the implication. Blindness here is referring to the dosha of the eyes, of the gross eyes, which is Thula Sharira. So, Andha San Ananda Bhavati has to be taken as all the defects of Thula Shariram go away. He stops identification with physical body. Then Vidya San Avidho Bhavati. Vidya, the one who has been hurt, Avidho Bhavati, he does not get hurt. So the Sukshma Sharira Dosham goes away. He drops the identification with Sukshma Sharira. Very carefully, you have to note. Andasan, Ananda Bhavati, he drops Deha Abhiyamanam with physical body. With the sun, Avidya Bhavati, he drops Deha Abhimanam with subtle body. Upatapi san, Anupatapi Bhavati. The one who has got sorrows, he is no longer affected by sorrows. Tasmadva etasetu tirtvapi. Therefore, after having attained this Paramatma, naktam aharevabi nishpadyate. He is not affected by naktam. Naktam is the night and ahara is the day. He is not affected by night or day, which means what? He is not affected by kalatatvam. And sakrit vibhatiki, he is the ever existing. Sakrit means daily or nitya in this context. Sakrit vibhati, he is the ever existing consciousness. And what is he? He Vaisha Brahma Lokaha. He is this Brahma Loka Chaitanyam. He is Ishvara himself. So without the traditional commentaries, these mantras will make absolutely no sense. Which is why some English author, I think, I don't know who he was, he wrote that Vedas are prattlings of a demented mind or something like that. So we didn't understand. If you don't understand, obviously, then mantra 8,
Apparently,
4.
this sounds more like jnanam and not upasana.
No, it is all upasana. Because here is we are talking about Dara Akasha Upasana.
Hmm.
Jnanam portion we finished. Of course, it sounds like it because that is the net. Like when you do Upasana on yourself, you are imagining that you are Brahman, right? But you don't know
Hmm.
that you are Brahman. That's the difference. You
Hmm.
can do Upasana on yourself as Brahman. But that is Upasana because the imagination is there. When you know that you are Brahman, you have gone past Upasana stage. Then there only Nididhyasana.
Ji, thank you.
The Upasana stage is for expanding your mind. Chitta Shuddhi. So now, the third mantra, 843. Tadya evam etam brahmalokam
Tadya
Tadya
evam
evam etam
एवं
brahmalokam
ब्रह्मलोकम्
brahmacharyena anuvindanti
brahmacharya
ब्रह्मचर्येण
anuvindanti
अनुविन्दन्ति
teshamevaisha brahmalokaha
teshamevaiksha
तेषामेवैष
brahmaloka
ब्रह्मलोका
tesha sarveshu lokeshu kamacharo bhavati.
tesham sarveshu
तेषां
lokeshu
सर्वेषु
kamacharo bhavati.
लोकेषु कामचारो भवति.
So we know that there are two methods for moksha, right? One is krama mukti and one is sadhyo mukti. Sadhyo mukti we also call, or mostly we call jivan mukti for sadhyo mukti. That's also a terminology. So sadhyo mukti when you say it is jivan mukti. Krama mukti when you say it is going to Brahma Loka getting in sequential mukti, go to Brahma Loka, get jnanam and then get jivan. So here this again is the indication that we are talking about jnana. I mean, sorry, about upasana and not jnana. Because he says, Tadya evam etam brahmalokam brahmacharyena anuvindat. What does he get? He goes to gets moksha by going to Brahmaloka. So it's a upasana only because it is a upasaka who has to do the sequential thing, karma mukti, we're talking about. And then he follows brahmacharya. So Brahmaloka here means that consciousness principle, the Brahmaji. But you have to understand that it is the karma mukti principle because of the context. The context is karma plus upasana. And tesham evaisha brahmalokaha. This mukti is only for those upasakas who have gone through both karma and upasana. Therefore, dhara upasana supported by knowledge, supported by this brahmaloka upasana, by chaitanyam, right? This upasaka who has done karma and has come to upasana and has done upasana on the dhara brahmaloka, dhara upasana has done on the dhara akasha brahma. His dhara upasana is specifically on the brahman available in dhara akasha. That will take him to brahmaloka. So ultimately, it is the same principle that karma can take you to swarga, but karma enhanced by upasana can take you to Brahmaloka. So this upasana, he is a Dahara Brahma upasaka. He goes to Brahmaloka because of the strength of his upasana. And this is says, Tesha Sarveshu Lokeshu Kamacharo Bhavati. So here is another siddhi. He becomes capable of going to all the lokas. When after going to Brahmaloka, he gets siddhis. Right? So this is a siddhi available to a upasaka, which he gets in Brahmaloka. But later, if he is not carried away by those siddhis and he uses the time there to go and get teaching from Lord Brahmaji, then he will get moksha also. So that's why brahmacharyam, the disciplines, are introduced in this section. And the next section, this whole section is glorification of brahmacharya practiced for what purpose? For krama mukti. So now we have finished with the fourth khanda. We are on the fifth khanda. Eighth chapter, fifth khanda, mantra number 1. We will chant. अथ यज्ञः
अथ यज्ञः
इत्याचक्षते ब्रह्मचर्यमेव
इत्याचक्षते
इत्याचक्षते
ब्रह्मचर्यमेव
ब्रह्मचर्यमेव
तद्ब्रह्मचर्येण ह्येव
तद्ब्रह्मचर्येण
तद्ब्रह्मचर्येणैव
एव
यो ज्ञाता तं विन्दते
यो
Yo
यो
ज्ञाता तं
ज्ञाता
विन्दते
तं विन्दते
अथ यद् इष्टमित्याचक्षते
अथ यद्
अथ यत्
इष्टमित्याचक्षते
इष्टमित्याचक्षते
ब्रह्मचर्यमेव
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 तद्ब्रह्मचर्येण ह्येवेष्ठा
Tad
तत्
brahmacharya
ब्रह्मचर्येण ह्येवष्टा
तद्ब्रह्मचर्येणैवेष्ट
तद्ब्रह्मचर्येण एवेष्ठा वा एवेष्ट्वा
तत्
तद्ब्रह्मचर्येणैवेष्ट्वा
ब्रह्मचर्येण ह्येविष्ट्वा
आत्मानम् अनुविन्दते
आत्मानम् अनुविन्दते
आत्मानम् अनुविन्दते
So now stuti is being done, glorification. And glorification of what? Of brahmacharya. So brahmacharyam is being positioned as the best sadhana among six sadhanas. And all the six sadhanas are going to be mentioned over here. What is one? Yajna. Yajna is ritual worship. Ishtam. So Ishtam is Vaidika karma. Vaidika karma is called Shrauta karma, right? Karma given in the Shrutis. Then there is Satrayanam. Satrayanam is a very big yajna with a lot of yajamanas. Then Maunam. Maunam is silence. And then Anashakayanam. Anashakayanam basically means upvasa only. and aranyanam, which means living in a aranya, living in a forest. So on all this, he says brahmacharyam is better. So look at the words. Atha yad yajna ityachakshate. That sadhana, which is called yajna. Atha yat yajna ityachakshate. That sadhana, which is called yajna, brahmacharyam eva, is the same as brahmacharya. So following brahmacharya, if you are doing yajna, a sadhana, you are following brahmacharya. And yo jnata. So your jnata is not jnani. Jnata is the upasaka because of the context. This upasaka, tad brahmacharyena vidyate. He attains through that brahmacharya. Yadishtham ityachakshate. That sadhana called ishtham. So whatever is the phalam from that sadhana, tad brahmacharyena heva yogyata tam vidyate. That upasaka gets the same phalam by doing brahmacharya, by following the brahmacharya vrata. And again, brahmacharyam eva tad brahmacharyena eveshtva atmanam anuviddate. He attains atma, paramatma, by the practice of brahmacharya alone. Okay, again, you have to be very, very careful in understanding. By doing brahmacharyam, what is he doing? He is doing all the sadhanas, including the karma and the upasana. And therefore, having done that successfully, karma enhanced by upasana will take him, remember, to Brahmaloka. Right? So when you say here, brahmacharyam eva tad brahmacharyena atmanam anuviddate, the literal meaning is he attains moksha only through brahmacharyam. But remember, you have to understand as he attains moksha because he is doing karma plus upasana. That karma plus upasana will take him to Brahmaloka, where he will get teaching from Lord Brahmaji. Then he will get moksha. Okay, so this is the point. So here the word ishtam is mentioned. So it means that brahmacharya gives the benefits of both yajnas, of both yajna and ishtam. Right. The sadhana called ishtam also is as good, is covered by brahmacharya. Sadhana called yajna also is covered by brahmacharya. Therefore, brahmacharya is a great sadhana, especially for the vanaprastha and the sannyasi. Because in both these places, there is not much money available, there is not much resources available. And therefore, for these people, the vanaprasthi and the sannyasi, brahmacharya is the recommended sadhana. So in the next mantra, we talk about a ritual called Satrayanam. Satrayanam is Satram plus Ayanam. So that we will do in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat, Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your patience.
Om Tat Sat, Om Namah Shivaya.